Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to share a few things that I wish I had known when I was younger. In fact, 11 truths that I have for you today that could have saved me a lot of time, energy, and stress in my 20s. So if you're in your 20s now, or if you're like me, you're in your 30s and you have some wisdom and experience, regardless of whatever age you're at, I hope these lessons resonate with you and maybe even give you a little bit of wisdom and guidance. So the first point I want to share is that happiness comes from within. Now I know this is really a cliche, but there's so much truth in it. You know, when I was younger, I remember being a poor, broke college student with thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, in student loan debt. And I always thought that happiness would come from achieving certain milestones in life. Getting the perfect job, paying off all that debt, the right relationship, getting a house, a car. But over time I've realized, and this is just so true, that happiness, true happiness, just does not come from external things. It just doesn't. At the best, anything external is only going to give you limited and short-term happiness. So life is really about finding peace and contentment within yourself. And if you're constantly chasing that external validation, you're just going to be burned out, and you're just going to find that chasing after any kind of pleasure or any kind of external thing is just like a black hole. You're never going to get enough of it to make you truly happy. Instead, what you need to focus is on just having amazing relationships, having a healthy lifestyle, and ultimately having a really positive, deep, spiritual relationship with yourself. Another thing I've realized is just how important time is. Time really is our most valuable resource in many respects. And it's one resource that we can't get back, no matter how much we want. In my 20s, I wasted so much time. I think that's part of growing up. But wow, if I could go back now, knowing what I know now, and just use my time differently in my 20s, I would have accomplished, I would have earned, I would have saved so much more. Now, I'm not upset about that. That's part of life. You learn these lessons. But wow, I treated time like it was unlimited. And this comes too with time with family and friends. As we get older, certain people maybe move away, or, tragically, certain people pass away. And we can't get that time back. So we need to learn to be more deliberate with our time, how we spend it, who we spend it with. And I would recommend you start seeing your time as something very precious, because you want to spend it on things and with people that align with your goals, your values, and your happiness, because once that time is gone, it's gone. Another thing I've learned is just how important failure is, and that it's a necessary step to success. I used to look at failure like this terrible thing, as though I had made this inevitably wrong decision and there was no way forward. But when I look back on all the different, quote unquote failures I've had in my life, every single one was an amazing learning experience. Even creating this YouTube channel. On one hand, I could argue that I failed countless times in that I've tried different techniques, different kinds of videos, different kinds of lighting, different websites, or, you can look at all these different avenues and things that you try, and you can really get down and feel like, oh, things just haven't worked. I feel like a failure. But the reality is, every one of those mistakes, every one of those failures taught me something invaluable and helped me to grow stronger. Talking about this YouTube channel, it's helped me to grow and develop and learn more and more. So if you're afraid to fail, you're holding yourself back from being able to learn those lessons. And this was really key for me. It's that failure isn't the opposite of success. I always viewed it as this binary thing, that you have success on one hand and failure on the other. But it's not like that at all. Failure is this integral part of the process. And you cannot get to true success without passing through those obstacles and failures. It's part of how it all works. Another thing I learned is that there's no point in comparing yourself to others. And this is especially true now in this world of social media that we have, where everyone is posting their lives online, saying how, look at me, I have it so good, I travel to this place and that place, whatever. So these social media tools that we have make it so easy to compare our lives to others. And I think in my 20s, I spent a good deal of time sort of comparing myself to other people and wondering, well, why am I not as successful or happy or have as much money as this other person? But a couple of things here. Number one, what I've learned is that no matter how good something looks on the surface, or let's take one of these social media examples. No matter how amazing someone's Instagram feed might be, that doesn't mean that beneath the surface, that person is actually happy, that they actually have people in their life who love them and care about them, that they actually have a healthy lifestyle. So number one, we never really know what's going on behind the scenes. And then number two, we have to remember that everyone has their own timeline. And every one of us, and myself included, I need to do this, is we need to focus on our own journey, celebrate our own wins, no matter how small they might seem at times, and stop comparing ourselves to others, because we're all on our own timeline and we all have our own lessons to learn. And that's a really integral part of the process. Another thing I've learned is just how important your relationships and network are. So I love this quote, this idea that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And there's so much truth in that. And I didn't understand this until later in life. And in fact, I wish I had been a little bit more outgoing when I was in college and then in my 20s. I wish I had put more effort into, I did create, but also in maintaining a lot of those relationships and those networks that I was a part of. Because the people you surround yourself with can really help lift you up and inspire you. But also, by extension, if you're with the wrong people, they can really limit you and bring you down. So you want to seek out relationships that inspire you, that challenge you and support you. And don't be afraid at times, as difficult as it might be, to let go of the ones that no longer serve you. So another thing I learned is just how important it is to take care of your body and your mind. Your 20s might feel like the time that you can really push your limits, but trust me, once you get in your 30s, those days are over. I'm in great shape for my age. I feel really great. I take care of myself, but if I didn't do the things that I do to take care of myself, there's no way I would have half the energy that I have. My diet, my exercise, and my meditations, all these things, they make it so that I can wake up and just feel energized and I can accomplish so much in a day. But I'm telling you, if I were to go out and eat like fast food for 1 or 2 meals of the day, or drink a ton of soda, which I don't really do, or just like if I were to stop working out, any of these things, I would just lose all that energy that I carry into every single day. And then long term, that would lead to so many complications and, issues with my health. So you don't have to be perfect. And look, you can splurge here and there, have a cheat day, whatever, but these habits really compound over time. And you don't have to be perfect, but definitely consistent with taking care of your body, mind, and even spirit. Another thing I learned is regarding money, and that is that money is a tool, but it's not the end goal. One thing I've really implemented in my life the past few years is to view money more as a kind of energy that comes and goes. And when I was younger, especially in my 20s, I always felt like the goal was to make as much money as humanly possible. But now I see it much differently, and you do need a certain amount of money in our society right now, in our world, to have a nice lifestyle and take care of the people that you love. But it's not even about how much you make all the time, although there are thresholds to that. It's really about how you manage it. And if you can learn how to budget, how to invest, how to prioritize financial stability, that financial freedom will give you so many more options in life not to mention real peace of mind. Another thing I've learned since my 20s is that being passionate about something is really important, but you also need discipline and consistency. So for example, if you're starting a new endeavor or a new business, and you're just really passionate about this project, that's amazing. But at the same time, that's just that passion alone is not going to be enough to carry you to success. The passion gets you started, but then you need that consistency and that discipline to keep going. So on a personal note, I don't know what video this is. This is 90 something that I've done this year. My goal this year was to get to 100 videos. And luckily I'm on track to hit that this month in December. So it's not about just the passion, although I'm passionate about doing this. I love getting on camera. I'm learning more and more with every video, but it's also about that consistency. And this consistency has forced me to learn so much about video and content creation and lighting, all these aspects of YouTube and videos that I never would have learned if it weren't for that consistency. So again, the passion is very important, but you need that discipline and consistency to keep you moving forward. And this is true in your career, it's true with relationships, or even just personal and spiritual growth in general. Another very important lesson I learned is that you should always speak your truth, even when it's difficult. So one thing about me is, I've shared this in other videos, that I was more of an introvert when I was younger. And I used to really avoid conflict at all costs, right? I wanted to be nice to people and not create waves. And so at times, I wouldn't say what I really meant or felt because I didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But I've realized that speaking your truth is really essential. And it's not about being confrontational, but it's about being authentic and showing up in a true, authentic way. So when you express your needs and your thoughts, and also, this is important, your boundaries, and when you stay true to yourself, you're able to build relationships and a life that align with who you truly are. Another thing I learned is that it's okay to not have everything figured out. So society puts so much pressure on us to have everything figured out by a certain age. And I remember feeling this pressure when I graduated college in my early 20s. But in reality, I mean, your 20s are a time for failure, also for exploration. They're a time to explore, to fail, to experiment, to discover what really works for you. I mean, it's very likely you'll end up changing majors in school or changing careers in your 20s. So it's totally okay to pivot, to change your mind, and to take your time. So it's totally normal to not have everything figured out right away. And again, this is not a race. This is a journey. So one final point that I want to share is the absolute importance of spiritual growth for all of us. I think a lot of us, and this is true of me as well in my 20s, I didn't really give enough importance to meditation or spiritual growth or any of that kind of stuff. I thought of it as sort of a hobby. I always had an interest in history, in religion, in meditation, but I didn't understand just how central it was to my growth. I didn't understand how important and central spiritual growth was to my life. You can really argue, I think this is true, it's really why we're here. I mean, we are spiritual beings here on earth having a human experience. And so you can argue the main reason we're here is that spiritual growth. And so yes, we need these different experiences to grow, and we need these different obstacles to grow spiritually, but I think so many people overlook this aspect of life until it's too late, until they're much, much older and they're not in the best of health. And then they start thinking about, well, what comes next and what is beyond all of this? So I would just encourage anyone who's interested, and if you're watching my channel, you probably have at least a passing interest in spirituality, meditation, all that. But follow your intuition and learn more about this side of life, because the more you learn about who we are spiritually and why we're here, I mean, it helps so many aspects of our life fall into place. So these are the 11 truths that I wish I had known in my 20s. They have all shaped my life in incredible ways, and I hope they inspire you, even in some small way, to live more intentionally, no matter where you are on your journey. So let me know in the comments below which one resonates with you the most, or maybe if there's a lesson that you've learned that you would like to share with the community. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.